I know. Itsy. Have you been seeing those trends?
No. Which ones?
Oh, let me remind me to show you later.
Okay. What are these? What are they?
So close.
You're far. You look amazing.
Thank you. I've never felt more amazing. It looks like a freaking octopus up here. Doesn't it?
I don't know. I haven't had too many octopuses in my hair.
Octopussies?
Yes.
It's like the iCarly theme song, but like it's like an old picture of kids.
Okay.
And then it's like where they are then and now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So funny. So funny.
Okay. Okay.
How was your week?
It was a week. I got through it. I'm alive, and
I'm alive, but I'm dead.
You?
It's been a week. Yesterday, this is the story I was going to tell you.
Okay. Ashley's not on yet, but she's like, I'm here.
Is anyone going to join?
Should
I wait?
No.
So,
okay. We can start now.
Bring them on camera. We see you.
Can you literally imagine?
But she's a clean house, so we know she's not vacuuming. Anyway, so yesterday I went to the gym stupid early.
Okay.
With by myself.
Went with by myself. Okay.
I thought I went to the gym a lot this week, so I couldn't remember who I went with when. I'm gonna have a stroke. Okay, so I go to the gym super early. I come home, go to work. I have to be to work for 10.
Okay.
So I get there, and my first guy comes in and do a quick pedicure on him and leave. He leaves.
Right, perfect.
My next one's not until 11, so I got half an hour to kill. So I'm like cleaning the pedicure chair or whatever. Right. And then all of a sudden it's 11.
Is that, because I don't know, is that like a big turnover, like of time between each thing?
Yeah, give it somebody else in there.
But is that like
the cleaning?
Yeah, like breaking down when someone's there and then.
No, I deep cleaned it.
Yeah, no, but yes, okay. I was like, I don't know how long that would take a normal like. Okay, all right. No. I don't know.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, just wipe everything down, change stuff.
Because you gotta like clean the bowl and it's gotta like mix around. And...
Right. You don't use the same solution, like just for everybody, right?
Yeah, we dump it into a.
No, go ahead.
So, 11 o'clock comes around and I'm supposed to have another pedicure, and she's always here on time. Like this is her time to shine. Like this is her time.
Her moment. Her time.
Yeah. And so it's like it's 11 o'clock, 11:02,
right?
11:05. I'm like, okay, well, like this is weird. Oh, yeah. She's always on time, if not early, and like maybe something happened. So I call a couple minutes later, and she's like, "Hello," and I was like, "Hi." She's like, "Hi." I was like, "Just wondering if you were coming." She was like, "Oh my God, it's Wednesday." I was like, "Yep." She was like, "Oh my God," I had said giving me a whole life story.
3 hours later, you're like,
I was like, "No, that's fine." She's like, "Do you have anything today?" And I was like, "Well, if you want to come here for like 12:30, so that way." She's like, "I'm not even showered or anything." Yeah. I'm like, "Okay, well, I really don't care," but
yeah.
Like, if you want to come here for 12:30, and she's like, like, "Oh, I have 12 tomorrow." And she's like, "I'll take that." I'm like, "Okay," and she's like apologizing profusely, which
it happens.
I mean, like, thank you, but like, I got it.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
So then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just
la-di-da-di.
Yeah, and it was like I was just about to go leave because I didn't have anyone until 1:30, and then the phone rings, and then some guy.
You get a lot of men. I feel like the second guy you talk about, and that's okay. I
get a lot of men.
Not that it's a big deal. I could care less. I'm just
So he calls and he's like, "Hey, do you have any time? Does Jesse have any time for an appointment? I need to get my haircut." I was like, "Well, when do you want to come in?" And he was like, "I can be there in 10 minutes." I'm like, "Perfect, come on in." So I'm waiting, and 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, "Okay, it's probably traffic." Like, I'll slide. I'll let it slide. 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
We have a rule of thumb. If someone says 10 minutes, you're 20 minutes out, no matter what.
Right.
Like all the
so
time.
That's why I was like waiting because I was like, okay. Right. And then I was like, oh shoot, like I didn't write this guy's number down because I thought he was coming right in. Right. So I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? And then I realized that he called the line with the caller ID, so I could, I found him. And thank God, I looked at the name. Otherwise, I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck called. Right. So, and I couldn't remember if he was the last one to call or not. So, but as soon as I looked at the caller ID, I realized it was him. So I call him. And it's like over half an hour, and I went down to talk to Karen. I'm like, am I being bamboozled right now?
Yeah.
Like this is the longest 10 minutes of my entire life.
No,
she's like, oh, wow, like that sucks. And so I call him, and he's like, I was like, hey, are you still coming in? And he was like, oh, I missed the turn. I'm in Newport now. He was coming from Bristol. He lives in Newport. He works in Bristol. He was like, do you still have time? I'm like, not today. Because I'm not waiting for you to get back from Newport all the way back.
I don't get that because that happens all the time. Everyone, like, where are you? Oh, I'm only 2 minutes away. It's always a half an hour.
Right.
Like, it's always 20 minutes. It's always.
Right.
And you're going, what are you doing?
So that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt and gave him that, whatever. So I was like, no. Like and then, like, I booked him for tomorrow, but I put him in between somebody, so at least, like, I'll have.
And they'll get mad.
Yeah.
Like.
And everyone just wants you to stop what you're doing so that way they can fit you, or you can fit them in.
Right. And then what they do is they don't show up on time. Like an 8 o'clock appointment is an 8 o'clock appointment. Mm-hmm. Now, I need that whole time. The only time that 8 o'clock is not a right appointment is when you go to the fucking doctors. Mm-hmm. Because you sit in a waiting room and that room was made for doctors.
Right.
Like, whoever made that room up, like the waiting room theory, was like, we're going to have people wait for hours in this freaking thing. And it doesn't matter if you have an 8 o'clock appointment. It doesn't matter if it's a 9 o'clock appointment. You go to the doctors, you're there. That's why I get so mad at people.
The first appointment, and
like,
you're still waiting.
I always hate. No, this is what I hate. Oh, I'm going to drop off my dog. I have a doctor's appointment in Providence. I'll come back, and I'll be back and they're like, I'll be back by 12:30. And you're like, no, not. There's just no way. There's no way you're leaving right now. I've never seen it happen. I've heard people say they're going to do it, and then I'd be like,
it's all of a sudden
calling, and then they're like, oh, well, the doctor was right. Like, yeah, okay, well, why would you plan stuff on doctor days? Doctor days, when you have a full day off, you have the full day off. Like, you have the full day off. Yeah. Because any other thing, you have to be there 8 o'clock. You have there at 8 o'clock, not 8:15. But see, that's what happens.
If you're late,
no,
you're
right. But this is what happens. This is what happens. People do this. Well, I have an 8 o'clock appointment. I'll be there at 8:15. No, it's 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. It's an 8 o'clock appointment. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, I need all that time. Oh, well, just push it. No, I'm not pushing everyone back because I want to go home when I go home, just like you want to go home when it's time for you to go home.
Also, now you're making everyone else wait.
Right. And the other thing is, too, is tell me when the last time you've been in Walmart and at 6 o'clock or whatever, they close and they're like, no, please keep shopping until you're ready to get done. Right. No, they push you right out.
Right.
Like, okay, you're out. It's really hard for me to understand this. And for magical reasons, I feel like that, and I hate to say this, and no offense to all the parents in the world, but as soon as you have a kid, you get stupid.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this, oh, I'll pick up at 1, no problem, no one. Ring, ring. My kid's taking a nap. I can't come and pick up my dog right now. What do you mean your kid's taking a nap? Oh, what do you mean? Like, wake it up.
Right.
Keep it sleeping. Put it in a carrier. If it's little, hopefully it doesn't wake up. Put it in the car. They'll fall right back to sleep. Never seen a kid. I'm sure
Nate wouldn't. Nate would never.
There's always that one. Yeah. But most kids will fall back to sleep.
Or maybe like plan your kid's nap around.
Thank you, but
yeah. No. I mean, I get it. I've watched kids. You can't really you can
and you can't.
And you can't.
Well, you can't.
But then figure out a ride home for the
right, like figure it out. Like, just don't be like, well, this is your problem. No, it's not my problem. It's your problem.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't send me outside. Free to get home.
We had to get to a point where we had to, like years and years ago, it was like you had to pay $100 if you went past the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you went past like 5 o'clock, if you went past five, it was $100 opening fee because people just showed up and be like, "What are you gonna do?" And that's the entitlement that drives me crazy. What are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Because if you don't do this, I'll never come back again.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that'd be perfect if you don't come back again. Because then I'd be leaving at normal time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's this weird thing right now. I
wish we could do a cancellation fee. Like our system won't allow us. Whatever. But like the amount of people who are just like, oh, I can't come in anymore. But like day of or day before,
but then,
it's like I could have put so many other people there.
Like I'm going to say now, I'm going to be the opposite person. So this is years ago. My daughter had. So we had a dentist, right? And they give you a little, reminder sheet, like the little paper, like a card.
Yeah.
Right? So we go in and they're like, oh, you had an, what are you doing here? And we're like, oh, we have an appointment from Marin. And they're like, no clue. They're like, like, I feel like sometimes they pretend to touch buttons. You ever see that? Like, and you're like, what are you doing? Like,
hold on.
Nobody. Or you ever see that commercial when the guy's like, oh, I better order something, and I'm like, no one touches a touchscreen like that.
I do.
Like I have a flip phone, and I don't even touch my flip phone like that. And then he goes like this, and I go, what are you doing? And they were like, we don't have an appointment. Oh, you missed your appointment. And I was like, no, I didn't. They're like, yeah, you did. It was on, and they said the date, and I was like, no. And I take out my wallet, the little card. See? Oh, well, since you missed the appointment, it'd be extra $25 today to get back. I was like, nope, she'll never get her teeth clean. Let's go.
Yeah.
The baby teeth are meant to fall out anyway. They don't need anything because they're going to fall out anyway. When she gets her adult teeth, then we'll figure out where to go else. I was so mad because they were like, well, you missed that. I was like, no, I didn't. And there was like this big negotiation, and it was like, well, we're God. And you're not. So what we say goes. And I was like,
see, I would have honored yours. I'd be like, okay, yep.
But you would have seen, you would see what did you think I did? I have a flip phone. You think I'm making that shit at home? Like, oh yeah, changing that. That's way too much work.
They must have changed it on you and then just
right, and then,
or right the wrong.
And then they want me $25 because I missed the appointment. I'm like,
right,
but I didn't miss it. Like I didn't miss it. That's when that gets crazy. It's this thin line. And I feel like right now, the entitlement of the world gets a little bit too crazy about certain things that doesn't make sense.
Oh my God, Mom's watching?
Like, you know what? I was wondering, because you know what? I was thinking about your mom.
Oh.
Talking about this. Like, how many people must drop off the cars later?
She'll tell you.
Like, later than they're supposed to. And it's like, well, it's here now. Just do it. And it's like, no. You had an 8 o'clock appointment. It's 9 o'clock or whatever.
Or they want it earlier. Like, oh, can you get it done by?
Yeah. Like, I never get that. It's like, do you know what? Like, okay, first of all, I know nothing about cars, but just the thought of just common sense, I'll go, okay, they're going to have to vacuum it out. They're going to have to, like, really vacuum it out.
Minimum of what you're
right? Saying. Like, minimum, right? Vacuum them out. They're going to wipe down the, dashboard. They're going to wipe down the seats. They're going to wrap, like detailing. Like, and guess what? Whatever I'm saying is probably times 20.
Right.
And in my head, I'm already like 2 hours. So in my head, I'm thinking it's got to be a 3 to 4 hour job. Now, she might say, no, it doesn't take that long because I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think it depends on the car first.
Right. No,
what you want done.
But these people,
I think they're all day.
But I can't imagine dropping up a car and be like, see you about an hour. Like,
right.
Like, how would you do that? How would you get everything done in an hour?
Woo! Nice.
Score. There's no way.
See, like they can't.
Do you get that? Wait a minute. Just
Oh yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Do you get like you sit down and like can you do this? Can you do A, B, C? Can you do hair, nails, and get me out in an hour?
See, I have so much anxiety asking somebody how long it's gonna take.
Yeah, no, I know.
I would be like, in my head, I already have like, okay, this is gonna take 6 hours. This is a 6-hour haircut right now.
Right.
No, for somebody else, because like I don't know how it works or whatever. No, how long?
This is the other thing that really kills me is people come in and they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life, and this is actually a family met. Well, in-laws, if you will, not in-laws. It was Jay Lee's brother, okay. Who I'll just throw him under the bus, Matt. He doesn't like me anyway.
Who does?
He goes, "Oh, I go to this groomer and I pay $35, and they constantly come back with all this like rash in her private. So I go look and I'm like, you can tell that it's razor. It's from the clipper being too hot, and they're not cooling it down before they go into a private, or use a brand new blade that's like obviously cold because it hasn't been nothing's been working on it. So you're like, oh, it's this, and he goes, well, what do you think you charge? So I say how much his dog will be, and he goes, wow, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'll just keep going back, and you're like, you were just complaining that your dog keeps getting like injured, cut, burnt.
Let me kill my dog over.
And then it's like, you know what? I rather. And then he says, well, how long will it take? So I go, well, it gets 2 complete baths. It gets, we put air circulators instead of heat dryers. So, and I try to do, like, I have this whole spiel. Like, it's like women with their hair, you know, you wrap up your hair. It doesn't dry up that fast, you know, when you're just blowing air on it. It's not heat and drying out because, you know, heat's not good for your hair. Same as dogs, takes out the oils. So it's like, I feel like we're on the same page. Yeah. Same trick, right? So you explain it. But then they're like, okay, so 5 minutes. And you're like, no, I just told you he does, like, and they're like, well, my other groomer doesn't, like, in an hour it's done. And I'm like, okay, well,
so then stick with your groomer.
It's hour because they're skipping, like they're doing things not right. So if you don't care about it, then why are you asking me about it?
Yeah.
As soon as he left, my other Manny, which I was really good friends with, he's like, that guy's a effing idiot. I was like, wow, thank you, because like it was like totally that moment. He's like, I don't get it either. He's like, he does nothing about dog grooming, but he's telling you how to do your job.
Right.
That's like you. He's like, that's like you telling me how to build the house because he's a construction worker. He's like, and you'd never do that. And I'm like, nope. Yeah, I'd be like, bro, nails, hammer. That's all I know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you get that same type of treatment of like, it's like the attitude of like, oh, this should only take an hour. My nails, my toes, my hair, I should be out in an hour. And you're like, no, you can if you want to go to Sam's Cut. You know, like, or
it's usually like when people want to like add on a service, it's like, oh, do you have time for this?
Right.
Like, no, if you plan that, like when I would have had time.
Right.
Or like, there was one recently where a woman came in and she was like, or she called and wanted Manny. She said Manny and pedicure.
Right.
I was like, okay, fine, put her in. Actually, Karen put her in. Right. And then I had this feeling that she wanted gel. I just like had it in my head. But then she comes in and she was like, do you guys have the gel? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to have time to do gel and your pedicure because you asked for a manicure. And manicure is a lot shorter than gel.
Right.
Because you have to wait for it to cure.
I know, the cure, yeah. I actually know this. I do.
Yeah. So.
Not that we do with dogs. I just know.
No, this. I'm sure you do.
No.
You put the clear coat on.
You laughed. That was a phase for a long time, and my dad was like right there, thinking about to do it, and I was like, "We don't have time." Like this is when things were much different, and we were doing like 35 dogs a day, and I was like, "I don't have time for that." Like we're already booked, and we were working from like 8 o'clock. We open at 7. And we're closed at 5, and I'm like, we got like a 15-minute lunch. Like I'm like,
if you're lucky,
yeah. And I'm like, none of that. So we stayed away from all that
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like somebody comes in and they want a fun color. Well, process of a fun color, especially if you want to stay, is that you have to bleach it first. Right. I don't care what color your hair is. Your hair could be very blonde, and actually, there's sometimes where I don't, just because. Like if it's a kid, I don't want to bleach the hair, like over process the hair. Yeah. But basically, you need to open the cuticle for the fun color, because fun color is pretty much glorified conditioner.
Okay.
It's like color conditioner.
I gotcha.
In a way, I mean, there's more to it, but basically that's what it is. So in order for that product to go in the hair, you have to open up the cuticles in your hair for it to go in, and like permanent color has the developer in it, which is like opens the cuticle as the product's being put into it. Whereas like the fun color doesn't do that. It just like lays on the hair.
Right, I gotcha.
So everyone's like, oh, so that should take no time, right? And I'm like, yeah, maybe if you want like a foil.
Yeah.
A piece right here.
Yeah, it's perfect.
No time.
No time. Yeah.
But first of all, I don't know if, especially if it's the first time you come to me, I don't know how your hair's gonna lift. I don't know.
Do you? I know. I don't want to interrupt you because you're going on it, but do you get the attitude, like you just said, about like, oh, well, you only get one, but do you ever get the attitude from them, like they don't understand why it's going to take long, and they like no matter what words are coming out of your mouth, they're just looking at. They don't look at you; they look through you. They're like, so you can do it, right? And you're like, what? I've had this. I'm not joking. I've had this.
Yeah.
Like I've had the whole. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to like comb out the whole pup. Then we'll have to clip the whole pup because we have to comb it out because you want this much hair and you can't cut through mats. So we have, and they're like, and it's going to take about 5 hours to do this, and that's 5 hours of pulling on a pup, and you're going to have to give him breaks because no one can sit there for 5 hours. And then he's like, so it can be done, and you're like,
for $1 million, yes.
You're like, it's going to like I don't even get that anymore.
Yeah.
Like now like my attitude walks into the room. It's like, I won't do this to this dog. Like, instead of going why you shouldn't, because of all the abuse that you're kind of, not abuse, but all the stuff that has to go through. Yeah. It is. And then you just think, oh, I'm going to explain to this person. This person's going to go, I don't want that to happen to my dog. It's just like, my buddy doesn't need this. Just clip him down. I can't tell you how many people go, perfect. Go ahead. Do it. That's what I want. And you go, I'm going to be tugging on this dog all day. Perfect. I just don't want him clipped. I don't care.
Now it's scared of the groomer.
Yeah, now he's like, now him or her hates me for the rest of their lives. And you're just like, and the whole time they're trying to kill you and you go, I get it. I kill me too. I get it.
Try harder, please.
There you go.
That's the same.
No, you already finished that
one. Yeah. So, going back to the cancellation thing, I wouldn't do it to like the woman yesterday because first of all she rebooked, and second of all like she's never missed.
Right.
But like this guy, like I've had him before.
Yeah,
he's done this to me multiple times. Like, oh, I missed it. I'm like,
you can't just miss
it. And where was the phone call? Oh, I missed it.
It's there's no consequence.
Yeah,
it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you not gonna take me next time? It's like that one day you want to be like, yes, I'm not taking you anymore. I'm done. Trust me. Oh,
I have a couple people that are hanging on by a little thread.
Okay, real quick. I know we're going to do this, but because I don't want to talk about work all night, but I'll tell you one story. I have this one story. I have this one story. Okay. This is when my father was in charge, and I was low man on the podium. Like when I say low man, I was low man. Like there were people above me. And I used to pick up and deliver one day a week, and my dad picked up and delivered one day of the week. And we used to have these Airedales used to come, which they were very good Airedales. I mean, and I don't have a problem with the pups, but the people were like just horrible. So I told them I'd be there at 7:30, and the object was to make sure I was back by 8 o'clock. I think it was at the time, or it's 7, something like 7 or 7:30. And 9 out of 10 times, I knock on the door. And the maid would come, open the door, and would say to me, oh, she's not up. I was like, okay.
Well, she need to get up.
Literally?
The dog or the woman? Because I need the dog.
I'm like, all right. Oh, I can't give you the dog because she was, I don't even know what she was. She was like Latin or something. She was like, cannot give you the dog until the missus wakes up. And I'm like, okay. Oh, we don't bother her yet. And I'm like, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I left with no dogs. I left with dogs. I was sitting there. My father were calling me. Where the hell are you? And I'm like, because I'm young. Like I'm in my 19, 20. Like I'm young. Yeah. So I'm not in the position to say, hey, lady, you got 5 minutes or I'm going to leave. Because I'm not, you're trying.
My dad says I need to leave.
I did it. I had to talk to them because they had an intercom.
Yeah.
And I was like, my dad said if I don't leave, and yeah, I just talked to your dad on the phone, and he said you can wait. And then I get a phone call from my dad saying you're not going to wait. I'm like, okay. She said, hey, I don't care what she says, Niles. Just be polite and leave. So I'm okay. I'm sorry, I gotta go. So all of a sudden, and then no, this has happened, and I'm like, and I tell my dad, please, no more. I don't want to, like, please, no more. No, it's not good. Good customers. I got 4 Airedales. I mean, 4 Airedales groomed every 8 weeks or whatever it was. Like, and I was just like, but it was never fun. Like, I just hated going. Like, and they knew I was a kid, so it was always they always busted my job. It was always, and then I dropped them off. Wow, this is a lot of money. I don't need to be. And you're just like, you know what? If you don't want to spend the money, don't come. Like, you just like this is
that goes down the street, bitch.
You want to say all these things, but being young, you don't say any of those things. Like you.
So what do you say to him?
So you're just like, I know, yeah, I know. We got 4 dogs. And you just stand there in the kitchen or in the little hallway they had, feeling like this small, because you're just like, I'm not in charge yet. I'm just a delivery boy, like, because at that time I really was just a delivery. I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, okay, all right. So we had all these problems, and now every single time, like that, he's like, well, and his big thing, when the business is yours, then you can. And then it was like a couple of years. I think it was right before my dad retired. They came and made a big huff. I went upstairs and I was like, you're out. I was like, don't come back. He started coming. I was like, don't come back. I don't care. Tell all your friends you hate me. I don't care what you say. It was like, at that moment, that's it. My dad's like, okay. And I was like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. Because they bounced checks. They had all these, like, it was non-stop problems. And yet all they did was wanted to complain. And I was just like, that's it. I can't take it. No more. And I just looked down. I'm like, you take them back. I will quit right now. And that this is, my dad is like 2 years away from retiring. And I'm like, I swear, I will leave this job. I will. She walked in my house.
In your house?
Yeah.
In your house?
My house. So I don't always do this, but when Marin was living there, like, she would get off the bus and she would go. And so I would leave my house at lunch, sometimes right at school, unlocked. I don't anymore because obviously I don't have a 12-year-old, or, well, she's 16 now, but I don't have a child running in on my house.
So you mean to tell me I can't go to your house while you're out?
Oh, I'll give you the special.
Oh, this is weird.
Oh, that's always a lie. Wait a minute, no, Brian. No. And so one of the last times she came, she got confused, so she parked in my driveway and walked in. I'm like, how would you even think that's a grooming shop? My house. Like, she parked in my driveway. She didn't park in the business driveway where the sign is, where the welcome sign is, with the thing that says open and close, not where there's flowers, not where there's, that she parked in a house and then walked in. She goes, I thought it was a little weird when I saw like 2 couches. And I was like, wait a minute, this lady went in my house? I was like, how you know I went in my house? Like, I was not happy. But I had Marin, and I was like,
how old was Marin? Young enough to not have let a key.
Yeah. I think she was. I think she was 11 or 10, something like that.
I had a key at that point.
Yeah, but
but I didn't let her.
No, not that. But the object was who's
walking in your house
at 8:00 in the morning. Who's gonna walk at that time into your house? Like, me. But now don't forget, I live right there. So when the car pulled in, you usually can hear cars pulling in. So I'm usually right on top of my house, and we had talked about when she gets older, give her the key, and then she doesn't have to, like, she stay after school and the after school bus or something like that. And it was like, oh, okay. And then when I started locking the door, she just started coming to the shop. And she just would come home and she'd be like, I'm home, Dad, da 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 da. Then she would go upstairs and spend time with my mom. But I was like, who would just walk into somebody that? Now, you've seen my door. You see my door. Does my door look like something that's very?
Does. I think it.
You're so full of it. There's planets on my door.
Oh, now.
NASA. It says Goofy Geek. She's like, oh, clearly it's a grooming shop. I should go and get my dog home.
Grooming Geek. Got it.
I was so mad. I was so mad at this lady. I snapped. And I usually not a snapper, but this had gone on. So I'm 47, so you're talking somewhere in the like 44 or something, like, or maybe a little bit like that's how many. Like I basically spent 20 years with this lady. I was like, out, get up, done. Can't
off with her head.
I couldn't take it. I was like, that's it. And he was just, her husband was just a complainer, and the wife was like, do whatever, and then complain, and then the husband was like, I'm not paying. And I'm like,
well, you are.
Yeah. I was like, that's it.
So then I left the salon yesterday to go get coffee, and I ordered like a medium one from Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they gave me a large one, so I was like, okay, well maybe today will get better. And then my next one forgot me. And I was like, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, Shannon, talking about that. You want to talk about that? She went to Dunkin' Donuts, and you know the hot cup of coffee? Mm-hmm. It's smaller than a cold cup of coffee. I don't know if you know, like the cup. So she asked for a cold. She goes, all we have is hot. And so he goes, okay, but charged her full price for the cold, but it's actually less. And she goes, well, there's less coffee. This is what we do. If you don't like it, then next time you shouldn't buy here.
All right, Duncan, it's not that serious. God damn.
I'm like, my attitude's like, for $6 a coffee, yeah, it is that serious. Mm-hmm. If for $1 coffee or $2 in my day, then you'd be like, yeah, it's $1, it's $2. It's like $6 for $1. I mean, for
$1. To make up, yeah, these days. Or $1 feels like $6.
It is. No, like $1 can do nothing. There's not even a dollar store anymore.
Right. $1.25. Did the 99-cent store go up too?
I think so. I think everything went up. I think every store is now like.
Because I know Dollar Tree did, but I didn't know if like the 99-cent store went up.
You have to Google that. I don't go to the 99-cent store.
Okay, what?
My wife.
Everybody's watching.
Uh-oh. I hope he wasn't there for the backdoor joke.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. He's probably not watching anyway.
It's a 5-hour delay.
He's not watching it anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't anyway.
He just like pops in to make
it
look like he's watching.
Look like he's watching.
He ain't.
No one watches anyway except Ashley, but
Ashley is my one.
So I thought it would be kind of cool to come up with like find words, like slangs.
Okay.
So I have like 4 topics on words, so it's different but the same, all thrown together. If that makes sense. So I thought like some words that I feel like I'm going to use some era slang here.
Okay.
Which I feel like some of the things are still kind of said, but maybe not. Mm-hmm. So in the 1950s, one of the big slangs used to be a boo-boo, which I know.
Like you make a boo-boo?
Yeah, you make a boo-boo. So you make a mistake. Yeah. But that was around the time.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yes. Do you know what jail used to be called or detention?
Slammer.
Cooler.
The cooler?
The cooler.
Was it cold in there? Probably.
It would cool you off. Because you...
Oh, got it. Makes sense.
Nonsense. Do you know what they used to call it? Garbage. Garbage. Nonsense. It's garbage. Which I feel like I still say, like, oh, that's garbage. Yeah. Get it out of here. Like, or if you get, like, crappy mail, like, this is garbage. Yeah. Like, you know.
Junk mail. Jesus Christ. Really getting into it.
A juvenile delinquent was called hood.
Yeah. We call them hood rats now.
Like hoodlum. I usually call them hoodlums.
Hoodlums.
Hoodlums. Those are the kids who...
Hooligans.
Hooligans. Yeah, there you go. Sexy or attractive girl. She was a
whore. Sorry.
Now we know why Kelsey doesn't come home. You're like, hey, whore! You look good tonight!
You little slut, you!
She is so far from that.
That's why it's so funny.
Like the words that you just said. I just see her bursting into flames as soon as the words come out of your mouth.
She just like leaves the house.
I just see her opening the door and be like, hey! Is Hot Mama.
Should I do that to her when she gets Hot Mama?
Hot Mama.
Should I do that to her and record it? I'll send it to you if I remember.
You won't.
I won't.
And then, I didn't know this was in the 52. Neck. or what we call necking, which is hugging and kissing. You ever heard going up to the hill and go necking? My parents used to say that a lot.
I've heard it, but nobody says it anymore.
Yeah, we get it. Well, no, because they used to give me a hard time, like, "Oh, you guys gonna go necking?" When I was younger, when I was a kid, and I'd be like,
no. You're just up there like,
yeah, we're up there like this, rubbing necks.
Lions?
No, lions. I'm thinking like giraffes. Oh. Hence the long necks. You went with like the animal that has like no neck.
Well, lions like how they run their necks together.
So does giraffes. They basically do that thing. Haven't you watched Lion King? They do that like wrap around thing.
But I also see them fight, and they're like, "Wow!"
That's rare. You know how rare that is?
What?
Them fighting.
Really?
Like you seeing. There is one footage of it that keeps being shown around because it's the only thing ever been shown. Jeez. Because they're very hard to find because giraffes usually don't fight.
Wow, must be nice.
Yes.
They talk things out.
So now we'll go to 60s now. 60s slang. Mm-hmm. Now, I feel like I've heard this before. Bread.
Like money?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bread. I think
it's like bread.
Yeah.
I love bread.
What happened? Take it easy. Take it easy. What would you call it?
Take it easy?
Yeah. So, that's the meaning. So what word do you think it is? Chill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's simple.
You're making it sound like something I've like never.
Where do you live?
Home?
Nope, in a crib.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like these.
Oh, wait, what year are we in?
1960.
That's 60?
Yes, I know. That's why. Catch up here. Hold on. 5 hours delay here.
I just got to the necking.
My finger's gone, so there's no necking. Amazing, far out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought that was in the 70s, though.
Nope. And, you got to think of 69. That's when all the hippies, like 68, 69.
Yeah.
Spacey, odd, and eccentric. And vibes is feeling.
That's that long?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I think it's really interesting, because there was a lot of things I was just like, oh,
I guess everything that comes back around.
Well, it always does. But it's something about the phrases that's really... Yeah. Like in the 70s, we had gross, which I think we all know is disgusting. Even though
Is it? I thought that was good. Gross
that's a slang that came out. Gross.
So what was it before? Oh,
it wasn't called gross. I've never heard... Oh, I have heard this. Well, telephone used to be called the horn in the 70s. No, not everyone called it the horn. I hate when they're like, I didn't call it. Yeah.
These days we call the horn something else.
Easy, no-brainer? I feel like that's so, like...
That's a no-brainer?
Yeah, I feel like that's such a...
I still use that.
Yeah, I know. Threads. Do you know what threads are? Clothes. I feel like still that's it. And I've never heard this one. Zip means nothing.
Oh,
I like zip. That. Yeah, I guess I do. Like, oh, how much are you?
Zero,
like, zip?
Zelch?
Yep. Okay. Well, the 80s, I feel like I'm part of this one. Yeah. It's bad. It's good. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it's... Oh, this is so bad. Oh, you hate that? No. You know what the best one is? Back to the Future, when he does, this is so bad. And he's like, oh, so it's not good. No, it's really, really good. Huh? And he's like, oh, this is so cool. Why, is everything cold in your area? Like,
I've never seen it.
You never seen Back to the Future?
Okay, well, technically it was on in my vicinity. I did not watch it.
Bounce. It's to leave or depart.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Not really.
I would say that let's roll bounce.
Psych, that came out. I remember Psych. Yeah. That was. I remember that being big in the 80s. Like Psych.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we overplayed that a little bit too much. Like,
Psych.
Not really. Yeah. Rad. I remember saying rad. This is so rad. Fun. It's fun and exciting. I remember. This is 80s. Oh, yeah. I think this is like 89. Word. I agree.
Oh, word.
Yeah. I feel like...
Liam says that.
Like, I feel like that was one of those things when my mom would say it again, I'm going to hit you. Could be like, word. Like, word. I mean, she'd be like, say it one more time.
Oh, what did I say? There was one thing that... Oh, swag. That's what it was.
So now we're in the 90s, because I'm... As If, which I think that's from
As
Cool.
If.
Right. Is No Way. Bangin', which is awesome or exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a different thing for bangin'.
Bling. Meaning.
So in 1990,
dictionary is different.
Bling, which is glitter or wealth. I feel like, yeah. Loot, which was money.
Yep.
And I didn't know this 90s. I thought it was the 2000s. Came out with the Popo Police. I thought it was
90s?
In the 90s.
Well, that makes sense.
Popo Police came out. And Senior Moment also was big in the 90s, which was memory loss. I remember having those, like, you're having a senior moment. Like, F you. You know, like they get all. Oh, we'll get to 2000, which should be more cougar. Know what a cougar is?
Like a dating.
Older woman dating younger men. See, they need to go back in time a little bit. Yeah. Push that a little further back.
Like, I feel like that should have been the 60s.
Well, I wasn't born yet, so. Holla is the call on the phone. I thought holla was just a holla back at someone.
Back, girl.
Paper. Money. I never called money paper.
No, but I've heard it, like in songs.
Yeah. Peeps.
I'm getting paper.
I'm getting paper cuts with the Peeps, which is friends. Mm-hmm. Ride or die, which I feel like that got overused.
That's like,
you know, a friend or partner with you no matter what. And tat for tattoos. Because I feel like around
tattoos is so hard to say.
Yes, I know. I have other words here. I'd see if you see. So we have legit. Do you remember when everything was legit? This is legit.
This is legitness.
It's actually used to use as legit drama, a legitimate drama. That's where legit came from. A lot of people on this one said a lot of people thought it became popular because too legit to quit was a thing.
Oh.
Do you remember that? MC Hammer? Too legit to quit. Oh, okay, moving on. I just love that man. Like, moment. I love the moment that looked like. Are you dancing? Like, what is happening here? I can't do Jay anymore. You slammed into the table.
Is it bruised though?
No, I'll be fine. It's gonna fall off in 3 days. It's fine.
Perfect.
It'll shrivel up and just fall off.
Speaking of that, I saw a TikTok of a woman who got frostbite on her finger.
Oh no! It
was like slowly, like
yes.
It wasn't falling off, but it was getting blacker and blacker and blacker. Like,
I actually saw a man that was talking, like a homeless man who had it, and they were talking to him like, oh, and I knew right away. I saw his fingers; they were all black, and I was like, oh my god! And they're like, what's wrong with your finger? I'm like, frostbite. It's like January. I don't
know. They like hard as rock. Like when. Anyways.
Oh my god. Adulting.
Fuck that. Nobody wants to do it except for a child.
And it basically first showed up in 2008 Twitter post. And
that long?
Yep.
Damn.
And it's been in the Urban Dictionary since 2014. Is adulting, and I have not liked it since '94.
I've not liked it since '99 when I was born.
When you were born?
Yeah.
You went back. Wow. Throwing shade.
Oh yeah.
This is basically
people say at me next time.
Oh, is that like
at me?
Throwing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry that.
I guess like kind of one and the same.
It's basically it's pretty much a neat way to describe an act of insulting someone, and it became popular between RuPaul's Drag Race and the Real Houses of Atlanta, Housewives of Atlanta. So
Real Houses are just throwing shade at each other. That's
so you know what? Fucking crazy.
That's so funny. The house is just like.
I got a canopy over here throwing shade.
And now I got a paint job.
Our next word is ghosting.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
When you
This is
just stop talking to people.
Yeah, it's when you basically go on a date with someone or stop talking to someone, and then you stop talking to them or stop seeing them, and you basically ghost them, which is a 2012 dating app boom word.
Boom.
App boom. It's I don't know. I think it's like the weirdest thing because sometimes it's so accurate. Like when I it's like, oh yeah, it's so perfect. But I do feel there was some point where everyone's like, "Don't ghost me," don't. And I was like, okay. And that's one like a lot of things with certain these words. Like this isn't one. I think you said this a lot.
I do say this a lot.
Is extra.
It is.
And basically, it's a dramatic way of saying doing the most. Yeah, and it came out in 2003. So
I mean, it does make sense to use the word sometimes.
And believe it or not, it was often used in medieval times, which meant nothing like doing that.
We don't know what it meant because we can't figure it out.
Time, which means to be outside or beyond, extra, like
makes sense because X is like outside.
Or outside, like outside the border. Like I'm going extra. Yeah, outside the border. Hey, in Portuguese, which is almost Italian, which is almost Spanish.
Kinda.
Basic. Yeah, you say this word. I'm like, I feel like this is a your word. I knew why I picked all these words for a reason. I was going through.
So you're throwing shade at me. You're adding me.
I'm big enough to throw enough shade at you. If the light hits just right, you won't even see you. It's a shortened slang term for basic bitch. I didn't know that. So every time you say basic, it's basic bitch.
Basic ass bitch, yeah.
And this came out. It became relevant in 2017, which is not that long ago. But it was in the Urban Dictionary in 2009. But it went down in 80s music history within the hit jam "Meet Me in the Ladies' Room." And believe it or not, we meet in the ladies' room by Climax.
Hey.
Climax. Yep. I know I was just showing because it was an interesting way to spell that.
You could have said with a K and a Y. And salty, I use that word all the time. Salty. When you get a little fresh, little like mad. Why are you so salty?
That is exactly what basically it is.
That is exactly what basically it is.
Basic bitch. But it is from the 15th century definition of impregnated with salt. Yes, impregnated with salt to its 1866 meaning
sounds like a burn.
of racy to its modern meaning of angry or irritated. Which gained its relativity. Yes. I'm not revenant. In 1938.
1938.
Yes, it started. It's salty started come around 1938, but really stopped being thing, and then teens started saying in 2017. I hate this word. The hipsters.
I don't like that word either.
I don't hate the word. I just hate hipsters.
I don't use it. Oh.
Like, yeah, I don't. It's kind of like, yeah, okay. It's like hippie. It's like, it's like, yeah, you are what you are. And it's basically, it's a know-it-all kid who thinks he's hip. Know-it-all and thinks they're hip. And this basically, believe it or not, It faded out in the 50s, but resurfaced in the 90s, and has stayed a while. That's weird. Like that's a 50s word.
A lot of them were surprised. Photobomb.
Squirrel.
Sorry.
You're like, you'll be surprised. Squirrel. Photobomb. Surprise.
Well, like we thought the other words should have been like later in life.
Yeah, I know. It is weird.
Photobomb.
Yeah. This word actually 2009.
I just did this.
What, photobomb something?
Yeah. So at graduation, Sammy's graduation, we sat behind this family or whatever, and they were trying to take a picture. But like then they like started talking, and I like said to Kelsey, I'm like, "Ooh, I should do like a funny face or whatever," because like you could see us because like the bleachers, not the bleachers, but the stand, whatever they're called, the seats. And
I won't bust your chops like you bust mine. Go on.
And
are they bleachers? Are they seats?
Stadium seats, I guess. But the mom went to go take a picture, and so all of them were smiling. So I'm like, I should smile. She's trying to take a good picture, so I smiled, and she realized it after she took it, and she's like, "Oh, thanks for smiling," or whatever. And then
you didn't do the jazz hands.
So then she texted the kid who was graduating and said, "The people behind us say congratulations too," but then she couldn't write the word congratulating because of like the way she phrased it. It was like, the people behind us want to congratulated, congratulation. She couldn't figure out what she wanted to write. Yeah. So then she said they want to congratulate you too.
Yeah, okay.
And sent it. But Ashley and I were like trying to read it. Like, what is happening? But then I felt obligated to cheer.
So did you ask her to be on this podcast? Because I feel like she would fit right in with this like mess that we do here. Because we can't read.
No, but I did cheer for the kid.
Well, that's good.
I feel obligated to because I was in the picture.
Yeah, you felt like.
So then my mom bends over. She's like, "Can you send me that?"
Can you go back? What? You totally phrased it so.
So when the mom went to go text.
Oh, her mom, not your mom.
So when the mom went to go text the kid,
right?
My mom said, "Can you send me that picture?"
Okay, thank you. Throw your mom right under the bus.
She did.
It's a 2009 word which appeared for photobomb, which is basically I didn't know this, but it's basically a word for A-list celebrities to be photobombed. It's not for, now it's for like anyone. Like you just said, you photobomb, but technically the word is supposed to be for A-list celebrities to be taking pictures behind people that you don't expect, you and me taking a picture and, Tom Hanks is standing behind us. That's what photobomb was originally.
Well, which context?
I know, there's so many. So this is what it says. Most of the definitions of the word dope is drug, a fool, a thick lubrication, and something good. Well, if you have thick lubrication, there can't be something good.
Everything's good with that.
Well, I got to tell you something. If you got drugs and you're with a fool and you got thick, like you can't. That sounds like a Friday night,
right?
But most recently, the word has been used to describe people, things, and situations that are impressive. However, such as, like you said, this is dope. Yeah. This is awesome. And in 1800s, it came out to describe a thick lubrication. That's why we got there. And that's how it actually started. Its was this gloopy brown gunk known as opium, and it was known as dope. That was actually. I feel like this is,
there you go. That's a story for later.
Okay.
Wino? Is that someone who drinks a lot of booze?
Yeah.
Or wine?
Yes.
Wine connoisseur?
Yes. In 1926, there was a book written, You Can't Win. and in 19 and from the 90s where Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder uh, split after their 3 years together, he famously altered his Winona Forever tattoo to Wino Forever. And that's how the younger people have picked up Wino. But Wino used to be someone who, basically got drunk all the time and just was an alcoholic.
Mm.
All right, these are words that we do not use anymore, and I think we should. Some of these should come back.
Okay, I'm ready.
Afternoon farmer. It's a farmer who rises late and then behind on his chores.
Kelsey.
So I just think if anyone's late, they'd be like, "Afternoon farmer over here." I think that's a great because that's a great insult without being an insult.
Right.
Like you could
bless your heart.
Yeah. Like that whole oh, aren't you? Wait a minute, are you being nice to me? Because bless your heart is not something good to hear, but yet it always feels like something good to hear. So I think that's a great one. See, and I always think insults that don't sound like insults to everyone are the best. Mm-hmm. All hats, no cattle. A man who doesn't have to be a man; it's a person who is all talk and no action.
Oh yeah, makes
sense. He's all hat, no cattle. I feel like when you say old stuff like that, doesn't sound bad. Like you just insulted him, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I get it." You're like, blunderbuss.
What the fuck does that mean?
A short gun. Well, this is me. With a wide bore. This is me. For carrying slugs. Oh, well, this is me. Also, dumb, blundering fellow. Yeah, this is me. I'm a blundering glass. Cad. A man to worm something out of each other. Man trying to worm something out. Either money or information. A cad. So instead of calling him like a con man or something, you just say he's a cad. I think these are just not words that we say.
Yeah.
I think, well, this is a good one. We all know this one. I think it's chatterbox. We don't know what chatterbox is. Or a
Chatty Cathy.
Yeah. It's a clack. It's actually called, most famously known as clackbox, but it became chatterbox. Chicken hearted. You know what chicken hearted is, don't you? It's basically a coward.
Oh.
When you're chicken.
Makes sense.
Chicken. Chucklehead.
Us.
Exactly. It's also too known as cabbage head, chowder head, cod head. I'm surprised it's not tomato head, which is a fool because my dad used to say, "You're such a tomato head" when I was a kid.
Tomato.
Yeah. Cowhanded. You're awkward. You drop things.
Oh, yeah, me.
Cowhanded. Because you have hoofs for hands.
So you drop things too?
Yeah, you're awkward.
My dad always says feet for hands. Oh no, he says hands like feet.
Hands like feet, which is cow-handed. That's basically the same thing. See, we got to bring back some of these.
Yeah.
Oh, got a novel here.
I feel like I heard someone use the word "cad" recently. Sounds like a word that would eventually come back.
There you go, cad. We're gonna bring it back. Death's head upon a mop stick.
So specific.
A poor, miserable fella.
You.
Yeah. He looks as pleasant as the pain of the death.
It is you.
Not anymore, but years ago. I'd be like, shoot me. That's when I was married.
Right.
Dukes of Limbs. Excuse me. Limbs. You're right. I'm sorry. Tall, awkward fella. I feel like that would be Dukes of Limbs. I'm like, you are the kings of limbs. Mm-hmm. A dumberhead, a blockhead. I think we just got a blockhead.
Yeah.
I'm not reading this one.
Okay.
I do like this one, a fribble. And that's not what you drink at Friendly's. Isn't that called a fribble?
I don't know.
Oh, you're not good at this. It's a good-for-nothing fella. Silly and superficial. You're a fribble. A fuss budget. A nervous person or fidgety person.
Me.
Okay, this is so weird. I actually know this word because there is a product that is a gadabout, and it's a person who travels around, and it's a movable table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a table for like you can work stuff on, and then it has wheels and it can move around, and it basically is like a something you can. It's like a workbench, but it moves around with you. You can have all your tools on it, and it's called a gadabout. And I was like, why is it called that? And I actually Googled this like 10 years ago, and I've actually used this word.
Okay.
Okay, ginger snap, hot-headed person.
Makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna because we don't have that much time left, and I'm gonna skip all these. I got a lot here.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to be copyrighted.
Oh yeah. All right, so now I have funny things that were said in the West. So it's 18. I believe it was. I didn't copy it, but it was like from 1840 something to like 1900 or something.
Okay.
So these are things that people used to say each other when they were like a quick comeback or an insult in the Old West type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they would say when this is all angry or mean, he was mad enough to swallow a horned toad backwards.
What does that mean?
That he was so mad that he actually took a horned toad and put it in his mouth. Like he was that mad. Pretty mad. He was so mean he'd steal a fly from a blind spider. These are real things I used to say, and they'd be like, "Oh, he was that mean? Not a blind spider! Jesus!" He was so mean he'd rather fight a rattler than give him the first bite. I don't know. I don't know if I want him to give my first bite. I think I'll go with the rattler because they didn't do good with teeth cleaning. So.
Oh yeah, good point. Kill me. Either way, you're dead. So.
He was so mean. He was mean enough to steal a coin off of dead man's eyes. Yeah, I've heard that before. He made an ordinary.
You don't still say that?
No.
Oh.
No. Because people don't put coins on. Yeah, that's so 2000.
Right.
No, excuse me. That's so 1843. We're 1844 already.
Right.
He made an ordinary fight look like a prayer meeting. That's funny. Imagine a bunch of people like, "Oh, damn!" When I'm done with you, there won't be enough of you to snore. What? When I'm done with you, there won't be enough left of you to snore. I thought I was going to say snort. That's what made me kind of pause, like, oh.
Okay.
I guess snoring was a big thing back then.
I guess so. Sleep apnea.
He was mean enough to eat off the same plate as a snake. That's pretty mean.
Yeah.
He was
I didn't know that snakes... Well, I guess so, because, everyone ate off plates back then. They get the fancy china.
He was so mad he could bite himself. Oh, that's pretty mad, though.
Yeah.
He was so mad. He was so mean. He was mean enough to hunt bears with a hickory switch.
Okay.
I don't know, switch, like, to punish you. Imagine that.
Yeah, like the game thing.
Okay, this is ugly. Oh, this should be good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He was uglier than a new sheared sheep. Oh, those are ugly. Oh, that's
Well, then back then, woof.
Oh my God! His teeth were so crooked he could eat corn on the cob through a picket fence. I couldn't say that. That's my front teeth, 2 in his mouth and 2 in his pocket. Well, the other one, his teeth are so messed up, he bites into bread and spells Jesus. Those are all mine, but that one, that's a good one. His face was so puckered like a wet sheepskin before a hot fire.
Yikes.
That's a pucker.
Oh no.
Her face looks like a dime's worth of dog meat. He was so ugly as a burnt boot. He was so ugly he had to sneak up on a dipper to get a drink of water. Oh, like I got it. I'm like a dipper.
Yeah, like the big one.
Yeah, you ever figured that? That's crazy. The Big Dipper. And it took me forever to realize that's what I always called it a ladle. Like I was like, I know it's a Big Dipper, but then I'd be like, oh, the ladle.
The big ladle.
But then I was like, oh, wait a minute, isn't that? So the Dipper is what they used to call it. Yeah. Oh God. He looked like the hindquarters of bad luck. His lip hangs down like a blacksmith's apron.
Oh no.
She's so ugly she could back a buzzard off a gut wagon. Okay, wagon. I didn't like that one.
Mm-mm.
He looks so bad his ears flop. That's mean. She's so ugly she make a freight train take a dirt road. He's as ugly as homemade sin. Homemade sin. You don't want the store sin.
You don't want the store-bought shit. Prepackaged sin, no go.
Now we got crazy. Crazy, okay? He was crazy enough to eat the devil with the horns on. That's pretty crazy. He's kinda off his mental reserve.
Not real.
His intelligence sure ain't at this camp.
What?
Get that one. His intelligence sure ain't at his camp. We're too west. We're too far. We're too far. We got the guys with the 1-2s.
Right.
He's crazy like popcorn on a hot stove. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's as crazier as a sheep herder. Oh yeah, you gotta be a little crazy to sheep herd.
Herd sheep.
Did you hear him too? Somebody stole his rudder. He's crazier like a run over coon.
Okay.
You run over them, they run around. Unless you hit him with a car and then. He's studying to be a half-wit. Oh, we got stupid ones.
Okay.
His brain cavity wouldn't even make a drinking cup for a canary. Okay, that was a stupid one. That was a stupid one. He couldn't teach a hen to cluck. That's pretty stupid. You know how much he knows as much about it as a hog does a hip pocket in a bathing suit. What's a hip pocket?
I don't know.
Is that like, I don't know. His knife is so dull, wouldn't cut hot butter.
Oh.
That's pretty mean right there. He don't know dung from wild honey. Well, you better figure that out. That's a pretty shitty joke.
Mm.
If all his brains were dynamite, there wouldn't be enough to blow his nose. That's a good one. He couldn't cut a lame cow from a shade tree. Oh, give him shade right there. He couldn't track an elephant in the snow. I feel like that's me.
That's you?
Yeah, I feel like, did the elephant go here? It's like so big. You're like, did it come through here?
Got a crater? Hi, Jack. Just want to stop in and say hi.
Hey, Jeff. Oh, Jack. You're saying Jack, right?
Yeah, it's a Jack.
Oh, this is Jeff. Was it good, Jeff?
My name's Jeff.
My Jeff. Bro, Daryl. He was so dumb he couldn't drive nails through a snowbank. He's as dull as a dishwasher. You shouldn't talk about her like that. Mm. The dishwasher I'm talking about.
Right.
He
Disrespect.
Especially back then.
Right.
He don't know any more about it than a hog does a side saddle. I think it's like me trying to say like country, like it don't do this, pa. Like it's hard to read this. Pa,
give a little accent. Maybe that'll help. You want me to read his accent?
He is plumb weak north as his ears. He can't tell skunks from house cats. Oh, yeah, I believe that. I think Kelsey's letting you in. I found a new kitty. Hush me, baby. He had a $10 Stenson on a 5-cent head. Ooh, that hurts. His family tree is a shrub.
Oh no! Like that one.
Okay, real quick, going to this because we're running out of time here. Skinny and fat. He was so thin he could take a bath in a shotgun barrel. If he closed one eye, he looked like a needle.
Oh no!
That is so.
I'm sorry.
Let me just tell you, I used to make Fallon Talon because he was so skinny that if he turned sideways, I wouldn't see him.
Right.
And she would turn and be like, Talon? Talon? He's like, stop. It's not funny anymore.
You gotta bring up the needle now.
He's so fat, you have to throw a diamond hitch to keep him in the saddle. Pretty bad. He's built like a snake on stilts. Okay. This is Happy. He was. It's the last one. Okay. He was. Okay. Wait. Let's
read your favorite ones.
Lazy. It's a lazy. He's too lazy to yell "Sue" in a pig pen. He doesn't even say "Sue." It's a "Sue." Sue.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be E. I know. But that's supposed to be the joke.
Got it.
All right. That's my. Actually, I had more, but we ran out of time because we talked about work.
It's your fault.
It is. Talk about my week. No stress. No.
All right,
guys. We'll catch you next Tuesday on YouTube. That, by the way, I'm really mad. You say, "Oh my God, it's 6 people watching us." No one watched the last one.
Sorry about it.
Crickets.
They didn't want to be in a silly, goofy mood either.
Yeah. No, not that one. The one before.
Oh.
No, that's the one.
Last week was silly, goofy mood.
No, the one before.
No, last week.
Okay.
Was silly, goofy
So
mood.
what was this Tuesday?
Was coming Tuesday?
No, this Tuesday just passed.
That was silly, goofy mood.
Right. I'm talking about the one before that.
Oh. Okay. Got it.
First of all,
couldn't watch it every.
Wait, Mac. I do want to say I heard the sad news, Ashley, and I'm very, very sorry about your little friend. And I just want to give a shout out, big hugs. And I remember when you first got him, and how excited all were excited. But I'm really sad. I'm really sorry, Ashley. And even though I was me that beeped and waved to you, by the way, because I feel like on East Main Road, people beep and you have no clue.
Beep over here. I'm
and
like,
who
the fuck are you?
He was like, hey. I can't tell him. Maybe scream out my name. And Shannon goes, who's that? I don't know. They're driving like 55. How am I supposed to know? I just see them scream my name while I'm supposed to go. It's not me. Like, they know it's me. I just don't know who they are.
Yeah. I wave back. Aww.
I know she did wave back.
She says thanks.
Okay, so we'll see you on next Thursday at 7:00.
At 6:59. Got it.
6:59. Because someone's too impatient. Thank you for watching, Ashley. Thank you for watching, whoever is watching at the moment. I appreciate.
Mom,
I think it's Mom.
She just has the phone up. She didn't respond to anything.
She doesn't know. She knows better. She's like, she just put it for background when she was vacuuming.
Right. She's got the sewing thing. The embroidery. That's what it's called.
Yeah. She's like, bye.
Thank God.
Like, best part. Bye. Bye, guys.
Anytime you want to finish.
Oh, how many times have you?